Welcome, if this is your first time watching Who Remembers, the series where we discuss and break down my thoughts on games that are at least 10 years old or older. Some we are revisiting, and some we are playing for the first time. I'll try to keep it mostly spoiler-free by avoiding any major plot points. So let's get started. Oh, the original Doom from 1993. Feels like just yesterday this game instantly traumatized my 7-year-old brain. Yeah, that's right. I'm actually old enough to remember the launch of the original Doom game on PC at least. But before we dive into my personal trauma with Doom, let's take a look back on the history and development of Doom. This groundbreaking industry tycoon of a franchise was developed by ID Software and originally released on December 10th, 1993 for MS-DOS. Although games like Maze War were around, one of the first first-person shooters, Doom arrived to set the standard and played a significant role in revolutionizing this genre as a whole. Not only was Doom redefining a genre, but up until this point we had never really seen a game like Doom. The mixture of sci-fi and horror really gave it a unique look and overall feel. The utilization of 3D sprites created a world of living and breathing monsters like we had never seen before. I actually didn't know this until I played it recently, but the original game was only 3 chapters: Knee Deep in the Dead, The Shores of Hell, and Inferno, which I'm currently playing through, and it's insane. But more of that to come later. It was truly incredible what the programmers were able to accomplish with the limitations at the time. Early PCs were slow and the processors weren't great, so programmers had to get creative for these games to run smoothly. One of the coolest things about Doom is the look of the game overall. It looks three-dimensional, but it's actually internally on a two-dimensional plane, with height differences added separately. It's really interesting when you move around an object or a monster because the 3D sprite will actually rotate, making it appear 3D. A lot of game creators use a similar trick in modern games to create the illusion of a massive open world around you. This little programming trick would ultimately lead to the timeless look Doom is known for. It's remarkable how well it actually still holds up today. I've been running around in these levels and I truly admire the artwork and the textures they were able to do at the time. As someone that actually went to school for 3D, it's impressive that they were doing this stuff in '93. And you actually look at some of the rules they follow with actually the patterns on the wall and separating the different patterns with the door panels and everything having a different color and a different color texture. And it's these set of tools that people are still following, still to this day. I guess you could call them rules if you want to. The development of Doom started in 1992. John Carmack was actually working on a new game engine that was inspired by movie franchises like Alien and Evil Dead. Carmack was also really into Dungeons and Dragons. The campaign aspect would have major impact on the story of Doom. The name itself has an interesting backstory. I've actually never seen this, but apparently in the scene, The Color of Money, where Tom Cruise shows up to a pool hall, he has this like custom pool cue in a fancy case. Apparently someone asked him, "Hey man, what's in the case?" And he says, "Doom," and then just wreaks havoc on the entire bar. And this is basically how Carmack envisioned Doom releasing onto the gaming industry, just causing chaos, and inevitably that's what it would do. I remember when Doom came out, everyone's parents did not want them playing this game. They thought it was evil, satanic, all the demons and stuff like that. So a lot of backlash and negativity around the launch of Doom back in the day. We can't talk about the development of Doom without mentioning John Romero. He is also the co-founder of ID Software and designer for games like Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein 3D, and Dangerous Dave. Although Carmack is often credited with the mass adoption of first-person shooters, it was really the combination between Carmack and Romero implementing these design tools together that would ultimately lead to the success of Doom. But Carmack does ultimately deserve the credit as well, and rightfully so. One of my favorite things about Doom is the simplicity. The story is simple. You're Doom Guy, aka a Marine, sent to Mars to destroy every demon and monster you come across. Period. Just dismantle anything and everything in your path. Spoiler alert, the final boss of the original game is basically a giant spider demon. If you make it to the pit of hell and defeat him, you win. The end. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we can get into the meat and potatoes of this game. The gameplay. This is why we play Doom. To blast away any walking piece of hell on Earth. Yes, I'm playing the PS4 version, but this damn gameplay is smooth. No jumping or even having to worry about aiming on the Y-axis. Just point your weapon of choice at them and let it rip, Tater Chip. Not to mention the weapons and power-ups. Can someone please tell me why this shotgun feels so damn good? Seriously, I could run around with the shotgun all day long and just blast monsters. The chainsaw is one of the most fun and satisfying weapons to deal out some carnage candy for anyone walking in your path. The chainsaw and plasma gun are fantastic for crowd control and taking down larger enemies. And then I discovered the BFG 9000. This thing is insane. It literally disintegrates anything in your path. This gun will make the last level and boss feel like a joke. The gameplay of Doom was light years ahead of its time, and most of the games, now and back then. Or you can even see the fingerprints on the gaming industry with Doom, still to this day. Robert or Bobby Prince, whichever you prefer, he created the soundtracks of both Doom and Doom 2. Tom Hall was originally the guy that created the Doom Bible, which also would be a direct inspiration for the finished scores. Even though I played the remaster on PS4, I chose the original soundtrack for my playthrough, and it was great. I could definitely hear the Black Sabbath inspirations. Makes you want to go balls to the wall. Nothing says stress relief like blasting heavy metal music while tearing through demon flesh with a chainsaw in the pit of hell. Now, I have an interesting relationship with Doom. I remember when Doom was released in 1993 and seeing it for the first time when I was just 7 years old. But the funny thing about it is, I didn't play it until 2025. Basically, when my great-grandfather passed away, my family and I had the opportunity, each of us, one by one, to say goodbye to him. Now, my brother, my cousins, and all the rest of us had to wait, to say goodbye to my great-grandfather. So my dad told us to go upstairs to my older cousin's room at the time. Now, my cousin was probably around 15 at this time. Take one guess what my cousin was playing on his prehistoric PC. Yeah, that's right, the original Doom. My brother and I looked at each other and our eyes about popped out of our head. Our minds were blown and traumatized. What were those sounds coming from Matthew's computer? These haunting grunts and howls touched the very fibers of my soul. Not to mention the disturbing pixelated monsters popping out of every dark corner. Watching my cousin blasting through and just laughing his way through the depths of hell was one of the most terrifying experiences of my childhood. Outside of probably watching Candyman way too young. But on that note, I was also fascinated by Doom. Who knows? Maybe this was the moment that initially started my appetite for my interest in horror to this day. 2025 has been an interesting year for me with Doom. When Doom the Dark Ages released, I kind of got the itch to finally play a Doom game. But I decided to start with Doom 2016 because I knew it was the first of the recent trilogy, it had a great price point of entry, and I've always heard it's one of the best Doom games. Not gonna lie, I've also been really stressed with the looming possibility of having to get elbow surgery and being out of work for almost 2 months now. So I sat back and I was like, hey, right now Doom sounds like the perfect game for me. I needed something extreme, violent, and straight to the point. And damn, Doom 2016 provided that in spades. It was everything I wanted and everything I needed. Ripping and tearing through anything I could get my hands on and my guns on. Hope you enjoyed our little ride through the stormy gates of hell and back. If you did, hit that like button, and I hope to see you next time. Stay blessed, my friends.